Yeah. I've been on my grind just to live it out. Say what's on your mind just to hear it loud. Everybody knows me, really that's the old me. Going through some changes right here and now. I've been on my grind just to live it out. Hey. Say what's on your mind just to hear it loud. Yeah. Everybody knows me, really that's the old me. Going through some changes right here and now. I've been on my grind just to I love that song. I think I'm gonna change the intro song, but I love that song. I'm actually gonna be releasing that song very soon. So for you people who have been asking, yo, when are we getting that song? I want to hear the full intro. I'm gonna release it very soon. I'm working on some music at the moment. For those of you who have been watching, I've dropped 2 songs under my my potential new name, which is Isaiah Kyrie, as far as my artist name and my poet name, my artist name. So yeah, Isaiah Kyrie, and yeah, I've been dropping some new music under that, which is available in the link tree. So make sure you go check it out. I got 2 new songs up there. I'm gonna be dropping some more from something I'm working on called Outside Creations. So for you people interested in hearing the music that I've been working on, that's where you find it. For now, I'm putting everything on SoundCloud. It's the demo tapes, but it's real dope shit. It sounds totally different from the past music, especially for those of you who know what my music sounds like from before. But yeah, I wanted to jump on this and tell a quick story and share something that happened to me for the first time in my life a couple months ago. Shit threw me for a loop. And it's the whole point of this is raising awareness of mental health and the importance of mental health and the importance of self-care and self-love. Because I realized even in myself that we're constantly looking outside for those validations and feelings of love from our partners, from our family, from our friends, and it's not even something that we're giving ourselves the time and space for. So yeah, I want to tell you guys, I want to share this story with you guys, and I hope it's as impactful for you as it is for me, because for somebody that's as strong as I am and try to be, and confident as strong as much as I am and try to be, I'm still human. And despite all of my efforts, I still go through human things. So I wanted to share this story with you guys. So, hi, baby.
Sabrina's asking, do we have another pack of salt that she can use? Because
no, she can use some of our salt she'd like.
And she said if she use that one when she runs to the store, she could buy us another pack.
That's fine. Tell her she can use some. It's fine. It's salt. Look out for your neighbors, people. But yeah, here we go. So for you guys who know me personally, you guys know my son plays traveling flag football. For you guys who don't, my son plays traveling flag football. When I was a kid, I played football during the fall, and the rest of my football was done in the streets or playgrounds, whatever, wherever we were playing pickup football games. These kids have a great opportunity today, and they get an amount of practice and repetitions like I've never seen before, especially for kids that are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to 17 years old. They get an amount of work that is just crazy. It's actually very impressive. So we're in the middle of a transition, and we're traveling to DC with a team that my son is going to be playing for this upcoming year. And my wife and I are going through a lot at the moment. I did some crazy stuff. I did some stuff that put a strain on my marriage, on our marriage. And it was something that was being worked out, but in spurts. So when we'd have conversations, these conversations would progress, and then they might get too heated or might come to a roadblock, and then it's something we got to table. and return to it later. You know, our kids interrupt, life gets in the way, conversations get a little too wild or heated, I should say, not wild, but heated, and we're too emotional in that moment. So, a couple days, this conversation that we're talking about, stop, Axel. It's going on for days, and we're a couple days into this issue that we're trying to resolve. And in the process, we're going to take my son to DC to go compete at the Redskins regional tournament. And we're sitting up on this in our hotel, and we're talking. And the funny thing is, right, I'm real spiritual, so I'm into like the phases of the moon, how it all translates to our signs, how it translates to our signs. Excuse me 1 second. Elizabeth, I'm closing the door. How it translates to our signs, and what are some of the things that I could be experiencing because of the phase of the moon and the alignments of the planet, astrology. So I've been getting into astrology and all these different things, and this was on the night of the winter solstice, and it's also on the same night that it's a full moon. And all these different things. All these different things are like culminating our emotions. And we're sitting on the rooftop at the rooftop bar, and we're like, it's a beautiful night. All his team is up there and all these different things. And we're talking, we're vibing, we're communicating, we're working things out. And eventually we go downstairs. We're a little tired. And I tell my wife, I'm going to go for a walk. And on this walk, I take my bowl, I go out and I smoke up. And across the street, it got like this triangle walking trail. Now, if you ever been to DC, it's a city, so it's a lot like Philly, New York. You know what I'm saying? And they got this little cool walking trail of a park that they're starting to build. And I'm walking around this park, and it's pretty late at night. It's like 8:30, 9 o'clock at this point, and there's still a lot of people outside. But when I go outside and I start walking around the trail, I'm minding my business. But I see these 3 kids standing next to the sign, basically letting the public know what's going to be going in this area at this park. And they're all huddled together. To me, it just looks like they talking. So I do one loop around, and now I see they're smoking. They're smoking bud. And in DC, weed is legal. They're young. I can tell they're young, but I don't know how young. And frankly, it ain't none of my fucking business. So I continue to walk. I come around the park again, and now there's a older black woman talking to the kids, and she's like, you guys shouldn't be doing this. And so this older woman, who looks like maybe she's in like her 50s, she's like letting them know, like, yo, y'all shouldn't be out here doing this. Y'all mad young. And she's speaking more so to one person that was in this group of 3. And this one, you can tell, was relatively young. Like if they were teenagers, they might have been 13, 14 years old. But she looked fairly young. And the older 2 maybe looked like they were like 17, 18, 19, somewhere in that range. But like I said, I'm minding my business. But I hear this woman talking to them. Y'all doing this little girl wrong. Y'all shouldn't be out here like this. Yada, yada, yada. So I go around again, and the woman's still there. But when I get about 100 feet from them, I can hear the woman yelling, and she's yelling like, "Y'all dead wrong, yada da da da. Y'all shouldn't be having this little girl out here smoking. Y'all all too young to be out here smoking." So now I'm starting to think maybe she's related to them. But the kids start to respond back to her. At first they were ignoring her, telling her keep it pushing. And now they're like, yo, get the go on here, like get out of here, like mind your business, this and that. So now there's some type of dialogue going on between them. Now I slow down. I pull out my headphones, I slow down, because like they're kids, so I want to make sure this don't get out of hand, because I could always step in and just be like, like everybody kind of go there. Just I like to play peacekeeper, you know what I mean? That's who I am at my core. So that's a gift and a curse. But So I slow down. I start walking like at a crawling pace, and this woman is starting to walk toward the sidewalk. And the sidewalk and the sign that they're standing at is about 20 feet apart. So she's walking backwards toward the street, and the kids are still by the sign, and she's yelling at them. And then she gets into the middle of the street and she's yelling. She's still yelling about the same thing. Y'all dead fucking wrong. But now she's cursing at them. Before she was just yelling and like basically trying to let them know what they're doing is not okay. But now she's cursing at the teens. So I start, I put one headphone in, I start walking a little bit more, but I'm still walking pretty slow. And the woman, she gets into the street and she's blocking traffic, and she's backpedaling through the street, walking backwards through the street, yelling at the top of her lungs at these kids. So now on this triangle, I'm on the main street with her. She's in the middle of the street. I'm like maybe 50 feet, maybe like 50 yards from her now, but I'm on that same strip, and these kids are still by this pole, by this sign. And the kids start to like get bothered. You could see they're talking amongst each other, and then they start walking across the street as well, but diagonal from her direction. So she's going left, they're going right, and they walk straight across the street. And this woman, by now, she's on the other side of the street already, and she's fucking going berserk, still yelling about the same thing. Y'all dead fucking wrong. And now she starts to threaten them. I should come over there, smack the shit out of y'all, punch you in your face. You want to fight? I don't remember where she said she was from, but she's like, I'm from yada, yada, yada. Stop. Elizabeth, close the door, please. Stop, Abby. So now the woman's screaming at the top of her lungs, like she's irate at this point. She got people walking on the block, coming in and out of hotels and restaurants, looking at her like, what the is going on? By the time the kids get across the street and go right into a store. So like there's like a bunch where we're sleeping, where the hotel we're at is like on a strip. So there's all types of coffee shops and beer spots and boutiques and stuff like that. So they walk into a store. This woman is still outside. I go around the park, and this woman's a block away, and you can still hear her yelling. And then the kids, I don't know how she's seen them. The kids come back out the store. This is like 4 or 5 minutes go by when I do this whole lap. The kids come out the store. She starts walking back in their direction, screaming. And now people who have been outside watching this, just like myself, are like kind of getting in her way. Like, no, go back that way. Like you're like belligerent. You're disturbing the peace. All these things. So this woman, this is right by the Washington Nationals, right by the waterfront, right by the Nationals baseball stadium. She's on the side of the baseball stadium at this point, screaming from a block and a half away. And by the time I get around and I notice when the kids come out the store, all these things are happening simultaneously, and I notice she's coming back up, I just stand there at the corner and I watch her from the opposite side of the street next to the sign. And I'm just like blown away how this just unraveled. And I've never seen, like, I've seen people argue. I've seen people argue and then lead into fights. I've seen people chase people with shit like bats and stuff. But I have never seen someone just like off the street just literally just harass somebody to harass a bunch of kids, just harass them. And I was blown. I was just floored by what I had just witnessed. Now, that night, like I said, before I had went out for the walk, I was dealing with a lot emotionally. I was going through a lot of things. A lot was on my heart. A lot was on my mind. And I had noticed something too. I was having trouble breathing that night. And I don't know why. I wanted to go for the walk, but I really wanted to smoke. And I think it was so I could escape what I was experiencing emotionally. Because typically when I'm high, I'm a lot more upbeat. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm more upbeat. I feel like I'm more fun to be around. I'm more talkative. All these different things. So I'm trying to go get high to escape, and um, I go. And when I go for this walk, my chest is already hurting. Like, not hurting, but it's tight. It feels tighter than normal. To me, it feels like I just need to crack my sternum, like stretch and crack. And then I'll be okay. So I go outside, I'm stretching, and, this is when I start to walk. But by the time I had watched all of these things transpire, and I was thinking to myself, like, outside after the lady had been down the block and she starts to like fade into the fucking darkness of the night and stuff, I realized like there's like a heavy focus on my chest now. Like, it was worse than when I had went out like when I had gotten outside. So I'm like, should I walk some more or should I go in the building? I'm like, you know what, let me go back into the hotel. I was like, at the very least I could let my wife know what I just watched. So I get back upstairs. I'm like, yo, baby, you wouldn't. I woke her up out of her sleep. I'm like, yo, baby, you wouldn't imagine what I just seen. And I give her the whole thing, and she's like floored too by like the story I'm giving her. And she's like, what, like, why? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, yo, they were just like standing there and on my second lap, they started smoking, and I guess she had a huge fucking problem with these kids smoking, and she don't know them from a hole in the wall. I was like, so I tell her the story. She's like, wow, that's nuts. And I'm like, baby, my chest is like so tight. And I'm just like, and then like, I'm like, I just start getting all of these racing thoughts in my head. And it's about the past 4 days, the past 5 days, the amount of stress, what I had just witnessed, what I had just experienced, all of these things. It was just like a mountain of stress, emotion, just weight, just fell on me sitting on this bedside talking to my wife. And I'm like, baby, I can't breathe. And she's like, just slow down your breathing. I'm like, I can't breathe. I was like, I can't take deep breaths. Like, I'm having a really hard time. I've never been in a situation like this where it felt like a 300-pound man was sitting on my chest, and I'm just like it was such shallow breaths. It scared the fuck out of me. And I'm like, baby, I can't breathe. So she sits up, and I'm on the verge. Like, I open up my phone. I'm on the verge of telling her, like, call 911. And in this moment, I'm like, I think I'm having a panic attack. And I'm like, and it was the closest I think I've ever felt to dying. And she's talking. And it's like in movies where you watch somebody who's losing consciousness, and they put the effect on where like everything starts to blur and the sound starts to fade. It was one of those. And I'm like, I'm either going to the hospital tonight or I'm gonna figure this out. And I do a lot of meditating. I do a decent amount of meditating. I do a lot of breath work when I'm stretching on a regular basis. And I just got this, I had this voice in my head just say, close your eyes and breathe. Close your eyes and breathe. So I shut my eyes, I put my head up, and I just start taking these. And I don't know how long I was sitting on the bedside just doing that, just breathing, just breathing, just breathing. And when I didn't open my eyes until I felt like I could breathe again. Even though I'm sitting there taking slow, deep breaths to calm down and not lose my shit, I didn't open my eyes until I could feel like I could breathe again. And for anybody who's ever had a panic attack or a situation like anxiety attack, that's what I was like. Even though I was breathing, I couldn't breathe. And I didn't feel comfortable opening my eyes until I could breathe again. Because if I had opened my eyes before I could breathe again, I was going to the hospital. And a couple minutes go by, I don't know how long, and I look at my wife, and I start shedding tears, and I'm like, I think I just had a panic attack. And she's kind of speechless. For my wife, I'm positive Paul. I'm somebody who don't get too down. I don't get too high. is I live in this field of, I live in the gray, I live in balance, you know what I mean? Um so I think she didn't have anything to say to watch me experience something that like she deals with, you know, every once in a blue moon. Um this was a life-changing experience for me. I had never felt like I was dying. I have never felt like I couldn't breathe. I had never felt like what I was dealing with in life was so overwhelming that it was going to cause me to break down. And I've had times where I felt like I broke down, where, you know, I'm crying profusely and things like that. But this was different. You know, since then, my wife and I, we have resolved that issue. Since then, our communication has gotten a lot better. We still argue, not argue, but we still have conflict. We still have disagreements. We still take our time to work through our issues. However, this learning experience was the learning experience came from me is like, I can't carry too much at one time. I can't carry the weight on my shoulders and act like it's not heavy. And I have to voice the things that I'm going through and the issues that I have, because if not, the buildup is going to be very, very heavy. And the buildup is going to cause a lot of strain. And I never want to experience that again. I never want to feel like I'm dying and it's from the stress of life and the stress of my choices and the stress of my actions. Elizabeth, be careful, because move over this way, please, because the tripod is right there. Move further down, move further down, move further down, move further down. Abby, stop. I never want to feel like that. Since then, I went back to therapy. I actually have to schedule another therapy appointment. I haven't been there since the end of December, but I've actually been in relatively good spirits. I've been meditating more. I've been stretching more, been breathing more, being a lot more vocal about the way that I'm feeling. Fellas out there, yo, we do not have to carry the world. We do not have to shoulder the load ourselves, especially when we have a woman by our side. It's okay to lean on them. It's okay to be open with them. It's okay to be, I don't want to say, I heard this one person say, I don't like the term vulnerability, because being in a state of vulnerability means that you're in a state of basically worry and fear and unsafe. So I like using the word brave. That's what he said. So I like the word brave as well. It's okay to be brave enough to let them know how you feeling, because carrying the mountain when it's supposed to be a shared load, it causes all of us to buckle. And when you buckle, you don't know how you're going to respond to it. You know, luckily, in ways that I didn't even realize, I had been preparing for that moment for months, maybe even over a year, with all the little breathing exercises and studying and meditations and learning to be still and hikes. And, you know, I had been putting the mental toughness in place and exercising those muscles frequently, so that when that day came, when I needed them to perform, they did, and I did. Take your mental health serious. Love yourself. Do the things that are necessary for you to continue pushing through the hardship of life. And understand that it takes a village to have a fruitful life. And it's okay to lean. And it's okay to be brave in moments when you want to just be alone and sit with your thoughts and hide them from the rest of the world. But take it from me, because I'm the best player at hide and seek. That shit gets too heavy to carry by yourself. And I would have much rather not had to have a panic attack to let me know that I'm carrying too much. I wish there was a better way of having shown me that I was doing that. And I'm pretty sure there were plenty of signs that I was carrying too much. But I didn't listen to them until it came to a situation when I had no choice to. Therapy has been immense for me. I also recently got this inner child game. It's called, I'll make sure I post a picture with it for this video. But it's called Conversations with the Inner Child. And it's working through all of the traumas. And it's a game that you play by yourself to get to know yourself, to get to know why you have certain behavior patterns and why you have certain addictions or why you have certain mindsets, traumas and trauma responses and things like that. But I went on a hike. I went on a mile hike by myself the other day, and I answered 6 questions, and I answered them on voice note. And they were all anywhere from 5 to 11 minutes long of me answering these questions. And after the hike, I was tired, not only physically from the hike, but I was also physically drained from pouring these things out of me that I never say, that never leave the confines of my brain. It felt so good to release and say out loud so that way I could actually hear myself and be like, wow. And then go back and listen to it and unpack it. And I'm even considering taking some of the parts that I talked about and sharing them with people that I think need to hear it. So that way I'm no longer victimized by certain people's behaviors, or allowing myself to be victimized by certain people's behaviors, allowing myself to not put my boundary walls up when they need to go up. You know what I mean? Feeling more comfortable in my own skin, not biting the bullet so everybody else is comfortable. Also realizing that I deserve the same comfortability that I'm trying to grant them. That self-love. Yeah, that happened, I want to say around November. And that was a very eye-opening experience for me. And we're now midway through the month of January, and I'm now having the mental fortitude and strength to let you guys know. You know, so even it took me 2 months to even put this together, to even be willing to tell you guys. So it takes time, and you deserve all the, and I'm talking to everybody here, not just the men, and you deserve all the love and security you could possibly give yourself. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to understand you like you understand you. And nobody's going to give you the time, the space, and empathy like you will for yourself. But it's very uncomfortable. I'd be lying to you to tell you that it's not. Like when this card game asks, what's a secret? I don't feel comfortable telling nobody. And how do I think people would judge me? And I answered that question to myself via voice note. I had a hard time actually saying it out loud, even though I was in the woods by myself. So understand that, yeah, you might be afraid of how people are going to look at you, what people are going to think about you. But at the end of the day, it's a lot harder when you got to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. So love yourself enough to do that, though, because it makes you better. It makes you better as a man. It makes you better as a father. It makes you better as a husband. It makes you better as a mother. It makes you better as a daughter. It makes you better as a sister, a cousin, a brother, an uncle. It makes you better. It makes you better because you're working on your behalf, and you're not expecting to get those things outside of yourself. You know, anybody out there contemplating going to therapy, I highly advise it. I know in the black community for years, I don't need no therapist. Weed's my therapy. Alcohol my therapy. You know what I mean? I got a best friend, whatever the case may be. Even if it is your best friend that's listening to you, get somebody to listen to you. Get somebody to help you through your problems. And if not, then be that for yourself. And it's okay to be selfish in that manner. It's actually not selfish. It's actually not. Because if you're not helping yourself, then you can't help nobody. If you're not loving yourself, you can't truly love nobody. If you're not happy with yourself, you can't truly be happy with nobody else. It all starts right here, right here inside. So, yeah, take your mental health serious, love yourself, be patient with yourself, and be brave when you got to be brave. And even if people's opinions change, it's okay. Be brave. Be brave. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Peace and love to all. Mental health awareness. Make sure you guys are pushing it. Make sure you guys are practicing it. Practice your breathing exercises. I highly advise it. Meditations. Sit still with yourself. Be okay with being quiet. Being alone with your thoughts. Comb through them. Figure out why they're there. Weed out the ones you don't need. Weed out the negative voices you have within. And truly aim to live your best life. Shoot for the moon. If you miss, you still amongst the stars. Peace.
I've been on my grind just to live it out. Say what's on your mind just to hear it loud. Everybody knows me, really that's the old me. Going through some changes right here and now.